I was just a young greenhorn when I came out of the vault, into that blinding, nuclear glow that is the capital wasteland. I had never heard of the Brotherhood or the Brotherhood outcasts. But sure enough, no sooner had I stepped out of the vault into that great big world, that I heard their request, croaking out of my radio, like a lover's insincere apology. And I knew that I had to follow it. The tip that I got mentioned a Protector McGraw. They said that he'd have work for me. But before my wingtip even hit the door, one of his goons was trying to make trouble with me.
Who the hell are you? And what do you think you're doing?
Making trouble with me is something that people often don't wake up from. So I told him to mind his own business and point me in the right direction.
Since you're down here, let's go have a chat with the boss.
Look, Wastelander, I'm not sure what brings you here, but we don't like surprise visits from the local populace. You're lucky you weren't killed. But maybe there's more to you than the average rubble dweller, That computer there on your wrist. Maybe you can be useful to us after all.
They only wanted my help because of my Pip-Boy, but I wasn't about to say no to them. Not after knowing what happened to the first sucker who refused to play ball.
I'm not here to hurt you. Look, just remove the Pip-Boy, and we can part ways. You know what? F this. Hand me that saw.
That computer you've got on your wrist is a specialized piece of equipment. I need someone who knows how to use it. If you can be that someone, I'm willing to work with you to make your life easier.
They may have seemed friendly enough, but these outcast types meant business, and they were willing to employ brutal mechanisms to get what they needed. But unlike the last guy, I was willing to play ball if it meant getting what I wanted.
You're here to help? Fine.
Sweetheart, why don't you tell me about your experiences of being Queen Turd Mountain?
What? Is that some kind of joke? Look, you're only here because McGraw says we need you. Otherwise, you'd be out on your ass.
I always did have a way with the dames. Unfortunately, that way usually left me with a cold bedroom and a lot of bruising around the face.
Your Pip-Boy there is a match. So since you're the one wearing it, you're the one running through the simulation. Get it?
The deal they offered me was this: run through some pre-war training simulation, get behind the 8-ball and do my duty, like a good soldier. Then I'd get my share of the loot at the end. I was the only one who could do it, because of my Pip-Boy. So in a flash of electricity and with a whiff of ozone, I was off, into another world. The destination was Anchorage, Alaska, one of the last conflicts of the war, before the bombs fell. I could tell immediately something wasn't right. Wrong war, wrong simulation.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Just when my comrade at arms thought I was awake, I was back to sleep, and on a rush back to Anchorage. That's when I met Sergeant Benjamin Montgomery, aka Benji. He shook me awake and said, "Dengelwood, it's time to do what you were born to do. Time to start killing commies." And I told him, "Benji, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." And just like that, I was let loose, like a bullet out of a .38 special.
Goddamn, this place is sweet.
Only this bullet was wild, and without rules. I had no way of knowing its trajectory. Benji and me were good soldiers. We cleaned up the commies like no one's business, and I won't even say that I didn't enjoy it. The shape-shifting invisible palookas gave us some trouble, but eventually they were all cleaned up too, just like the others. Our first mission was to blow up the artillery that was pounding the base camp, but they were no trouble for us, armed with enough C4 to light up the 4th of July. All that was left was to sit back and watch the fireworks. Happy Independence Day, Uncle Sam. After all that killing and bloodshed, it was time for me to meet up with my commanding officer. In varieties of flowery language, I heard attaboys and well dones, but unfortunately my task wasn't over.
Unfortunately, While you were up there climbing mountains, we were down here getting our butts kicked. Okay.
Old General Chase gave me the good news.
I'm only gonna go through this.
More blood to be shed, more killing to be had, more scalps collected. It was going to be a long time before we were home for Christmas. Tanks, listening outposts, fuel depot, it all meant very little to me. Just pawns on the board waiting to be knocked down by the night.
Well, looks like we're working together again, sir. General Chase assigned me to the strike team.
I was always happy to see Benji, but not under these circumstances, perhaps.
Yes, sir. What are your orders?
But like good soldiers, we went off and did our duty. General Chase said I was born to be a killing machine, and I guess he was right. Before you knew it, we were collecting commie heads like so many wooden nickels, ready to turn them into the company store, the self-sustaining meat machine that is war. It was inevitable, of course. The listening post was secured. No one could stand in the way of the main character.
That should be
So
the last.
Benji and I made our way back to base camp, like toy soldiers going to the next objective.
Capital Post, thanks. Who knows? Maybe someone will turn this photo into a statue one day.
Unfortunately, these poor boys would never make it home. Their souls encased in bronze and plopped next to the Potomac River, a disingenuous memorial to their sacrifice. It all wouldn't matter anyway. The bombs dropped a few months later, and the world ended as we know it. In my mind, I still see it all. More killing, more bloodshed, more fireworks, all for the glory of the US of A. As the gun smoke dissipated, the smell of acrid gasoline filled my nostrils. Benji shook me from my bloodlust and reverie,
All right.
and told me it's time to rush the pulse field.
Let's go take down the pulse field.
You see, the T-51Bs were the Army's edge over the Chinese. True tin soldiers, wrapped up in armor and sent out to kill. The problem was the pulse field rendered them useless. It would take a lone man without power armor to deactivate it. I laughed as the field around the refinery dissipated, just as my inhibitions to killing fell away. Knock knock, you pinko bastards. I rushed the refinery with my brothers in arms and confronted General Jingwei. Although our spoken languages were not the same, we were both fluent in the language of death, and I knew what it translated to. Only one of us was making it out of here alive, and I was determined to be the victor. And with that, General Chase asked me to stand down.
Stand down.
To the good general, soldiers were like firearms. Point them at the enemy and kill, then unload them and put them back in the box when they're no longer of use.
Dismissed.
He didn't understand. There was no going back for me. But perhaps there is a place where used-up soldiers can go. A place where they can forget all the killing and the horrible things they did. That kind of place sounds pretty good to me. As much as I would have loved to stay, it was time to return to the real world, back to the capital wasteland. I had more matters that needed attending to, and a debt that still needed to be settled. My eyes burned as I came out of the simulation pod. Was it still me? Was I still the same Dengelwood? Or was it me who was the pawn, caught up in the conflict at the end of the world? Words were said, disagreements had, and one of the outcasts wanted to welch on our deal, but I wasn't having that. My muscle memory was still fresh from the conflict. Commies, outcasts, super mutants, they were all the same. Pull the trigger and banish them from existence.
For help.
After the dust settled, there wasn't much left of McGraw's regiment.
It's a damn shame about Olin.
Olin didn't make it either, and it's too bad. I wanted to apologize for the things that I said. But in this business, you just can't get attached, especially when it comes to dames. I got the trinkets I was looking for, the T-51B power armor, and the Chinese stealth armor. They clinked in my pockets like trinkets. Guess I was collecting wood nickels again, just like when I was under General Chase's thumb. The memories still hang heavy in my mind, but the world keeps spinning. I left the ruined compound of the outcasts and went back into the world looking for my father. There was no point dwelling on sentimentality. Benji, Chase, McGraw, the outcasts, they'll all forget about me. And me? I'd like to forget about Operation Anchorage.